Hi there, I'm Leah Wilkening, and welcome to We Can Still Be Friends. This video series started as a final course project. We were asked to answer the common critiques and objections to Christianity. A lot of the questions are ones that, frankly, my friends have asked, as they've watched me go from being an accountant, an improviser, and now going to school to be a pastor. And so I thought I would take this opportunity to put together some of those questions and answer them from my heart. Each episode will focus on one hard question people might have about the Christian faith, and maybe they feel a little bit rude to ask. I hope at the end of this, it helps us to understand one another a little bit more. And it reassures my friends and maybe build some bridges with your community that even though we have different religions, even though we might have different ways of looking at life, we can still be friends. Our first question is a common one. Isn't Christianity irrational? For those of you who are fans of Handmaid's Tale, let me reassure you first off, I've not joined a cult, and no one is forcing me to record this video, except my professor. I can understand why you might think that being a Christian or believing in any faith in an outside God means a person has to reject science. But this simply isn't the case. I have a lot of friends who are accomplished scientists. They're psychologists, doctors. They hold doctoral degrees. In fact, many of them will tell you they find their work to be affirming of their faith. You might be surprised at the number of high-level scholars whose work led them to argue that science and reason alone simply cannot answer every human question. Science and religion have different purposes. Where science aims at making observations of the natural world, religion aims to explain the purpose, meaning, and origins of the universe. Inherent to each field is a different goal. Science might be able to describe the functions of fission, but it can't decide whether an atomic bomb should be used in warfare. Science cannot determine where the very first life particle came from, even if they can make theories about how it came to be. The very first origin of life is inexplicable by science. Science also cannot explain why someone would go beyond their natural instincts and lay down their life for a stranger in need. One last point. Science is also a set of beliefs, whether we think of it that way or not. For example, suppose a scientist believes there is no force that cannot be observed. If, in the course of their work, they observe something that they can't explain, the conclusion is simply that a rational cause just hasn't yet been found. That all things are observable is inherently a belief statement. This isn't to say that we as Christians if we don't understand a natural process, that we just insert that it must be God. We sometimes have gotten ourselves in trouble with that. It's just that Christians don't necessarily reject what can't be observed. Rather, Christians simply accept that there are some things that can't be observed. I personally don't believe that science and religion are inherently necessarily at odds. There are truths about the universe God shows us through his order. There are some truths, however, that he shares specifically with us that go beyond natural order and show up where we would least expect it. If you want to learn more about science and faith, check out Tim Keller's book, Making Sense of God, or Alvin Plantinga's Where the Conflict Really Lies, Science, Religion, and Naturalism. It's published by Oxford University Press. If you want to hear more from super smart scholar types, ones that use words that I don't know how to pronounce, check out Terry Eagleton's Reason, Faith, and Revolution, Reflections on the God Debate by Yale University Press. Friends, if you have any questions you'd like me to answer here on this show, or maybe you just want to reach out and talk a little bit further in person, just let me know, because we can still be friends.